Sports Snippets! Dennis Sullivan, Saturday the 27th. How in the world are you doing? We gotta talk some Miami Heat. Tons of stuff going on. And I want to get into it right now, so let's go right to the snippets board and get things started. Here we go, guys. I put some main key points up on the board. Before I get started, I must bring up, there's different directions that I can go in this video, and before I even get going with that, and I'm going to go the direction of positive though. I just don't want to, right now I just can't be negative on the Heat because so much is going on, which many of you know most, if not all of it already, as far as the trade information and all that stuff that's going on and the updates. If you do like the content of this particular video, please do not forget to hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. So, guys, we got to get started. Now, coming into this, as I was just taking some time here a little bit earlier today, this morning, checking up on a few articles, a few pieces of information, went online, had to just follow up on a few things after a busy week at work. You know, sometimes I have to catch up a little on Saturday morning. I said to myself, well, there's so much to look forward to with the Heat, but then again, as we go to point number one, this is a team with the number 6 that has just lost its 6th straight game. Now, there's no way, guys, that I'm going to just focus on 6 losses after all that's happened and all that's been going on with this team. So take a deep breath, because I'm not going to do that in this video. Sometimes it's funny because there have been times this season mainly where I've kind of waited a day or two. I must confess, I've waited a few days or even an extra day so the Heat can get back in the win column to do a video, so I'd have a little bit more positive news for you guys watching these videos. But nonetheless, we have plenty of basketball left this season. They're 46 games in, or the Miami Heat sitting at 22-24 after the loss Friday night. The good news to 22-24, if there is any, is that you actually have 26 games remaining in the regular season. So yeah, they've lost 6 in a row. It hasn't been very pretty, but you know what? To just get into this deep dive analysis, I usually will go a little bit deeper in what's happening and what's going on and what's causing it. But because there's been so much in terms of personnel changes with the trades I will be getting into, that I'm not really even going to focus much on that in this video. And if you even look at the game against Charlotte Friday night, the Heat were going very deep into their bench. Players getting a lot of minutes. Gabe Vincent played, he didn't play 20 minutes, but I think he was close. Max Strus got some playing time, so we're going to get into that, who does a good job. But the Heat were definitely a shorthanded team Friday night. New faces. Now, guys, point number 2. This is what we got to go into this direction here. So, as you all know, or should know, or are about to know, I don't know about should know, but are about to know, in the coming days, if you haven't been up on the news, Victor Oladipo is now going to be a Miami Heat. That is the big news, that Victor Oladipo is now a Miami Heat player. He is on the roster. He is going to be a key part of this team, a 2-time All-Star, averaging over 20 points per season. I remember a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, because he was injured for a pretty good amount of last season. 2 years ago, he was very good, had a really good season, played well for the Pacers, for the Magic. He's moved around a little bit, but he is at 28 years old. He's still in his prime. He's going to be a big part of this team. The Heat are very excited to have him. Of course, picking him up from the Houston Rockets, where he was playing, the Heat did have to say goodbye to 2 good players, one in which, in Kelly Olynyk, who had a nice little run with the Heat, was a big part of last year's Eastern Conference Championship team, was starting this season, was Kelly Olynyk. So it's sad to see him go. I liked his play. I liked what he brought offensively. Houston's going to be happy to have them on their roster, no doubt. Avery Bradley, also sent to the Rockets. As you guys know, with Avery Bradley, definitely a veteran, plenty of experience, tons of experience in the league. He's a good guard to have. He could score some points for you. Not quite the player maybe he once was in terms of scoring ability and what he brings to the table, but nonetheless, he's still a really good NBA player. So the Heat do say goodbye to those two players. In terms of the Sacramento King, now more new faces. The Sacramento King move. The Heat also now will acquire Mr. Nemanja Bjelica from the Sacramento Kings, who is averaging a little over 7 points and 4 rebounds a game this season, listed as a power forward. He should help the Heat, no doubt. He could score. Last season, guys, if you check him out, check out his numbers last year. They were a little bit higher. So that probably led to his departure from the Kings, in that his role was decreasing over time. So he was at, last season, a little over 11 points a game, a little over 7 rebounds a game. So his numbers definitely went down this year, but still at a little over 7 points, 4 rebounds. I mean, I'll take it, but this is a proven double-figure scorer on a nightly basis that comes to the Miami Heat, can add some inside scoring punch, and it can help on the boards. You know, Bam's going to need some help, guys, long term. So it just can't be Bam, Bam, Bam all the time. I mean, come on. He's going to need some help. He's going to need some help. Precious Achiuwa still is developing for the Heat. Doesn't quite get the playing time that I thought he would be getting. But then again, this is a very young player, is Precious Achiuwa. So acquiring the veteran in Bjelica makes perfect sense to me. Moving on. Point number 3, LA, Lamarcus Aldridge. Okay, those are the initials, of course. The Lamarcus Aldridge sweepstakes are well underway at the time of this video. At the time this video is being put together. Lamarcus Aldridge, definitely a veteran, definitely well into his career, has parted ways with the San Antonio Spurs. Buyout type situation. The Heat are currently, as this video is being put together on Saturday afternoon, he is considered to be the front runner in terms of where he will land next. The front runner, as far as the Heat are the front runners for Lamarcus Aldridge to land next in terms of where he will land for his next portion of his career, what team he will be playing on. So the Heat have a very good chance. There's nothing definite. I want to be careful how I explain this. There's nothing that says he will definitely be on the team. Nothing as of yet. But the chances are looking pretty good as of right now. That would be awesome. Aldridge was like a dominant player in his prime, as you may recall. He was really good. Still can get you about 15 points, 10 rebounds, in that range, maybe 15, 8, 9 rebounds. Still can score inside, still can help you a lot on the boards. Heat are obviously looking for some more inside punch. You can tell a mile away they need a little bit more inside, and that's why, guys, last year when everyone was like guard, guard, guard during the draft, and I was sitting here saying no, 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 and then we got Precious Achiuwa, and I'm still 2 thumbs up on that. I'm still like, yeah, that is a good move, because he's going to help the Heat, Will Precious, in the years to come. Before I want to get into a little bit of the breakdown with the Hornets game. I don't want to spend too much time on that as I normally would, only because, guys, you know, I don't want to dwell on that game. I mean, yes, it was our 6th straight loss. Heat fall to 22-24. Currently the 8th seed if the season were to end today, but they're only a couple of games behind Charlotte, who currently hold the 4th seed. So it's only a couple of games, and then you're looking at a mid-seed. So I like, believe it or not, even though the Heat have lost 6 games in a row, I like where we're sitting with the improved roster and obviously Oladipo coming to the team. So see, that's where we are now, unfortunately. We're sitting at an 8th seed, barely ahead of Indiana. Indiana's probably going to get in, guys. I mean, Indiana Pacers are pretty good. They just beat the Heat twice in the last 10 days or so. It's going to be one of those other teams that are kind of sitting around 6th, 7th. That's going to, in all likelihood, be the odd team out, in my humble opinion. So we'll have to, it's going to be one of those 4th through 7 teams that once they slide a little, that's going to be it. Because that's the way I see it. Because I think the Heat, and I also think Indiana Pacers, are going to have strong finishes to this season. When we look at the game, so that's where we sit now, guys. Hey, it is what it is. We look at the game against Charlotte. So Charlotte Hornets do beat the Heat Friday night, 110-105. Jimmy Butler would lead the Heat, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. He would add a steal as well. Duncan Robinson also scored 20, had a rebound and 4 assists. Trevor Ariza. Okay, guys. Trevor Ariza played well. Another new face, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. That's pretty awesome, actually. Look for more of that from him. Bam Adebayo had a pretty solid game. Not his greatest game, but still a pretty solid game. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Kendrick Nunn added 10 points. The Heat bench was a little bit altered, right? No Goran, so we didn't have Goran Dragic scoring punch coming off the bench. He is still out. Tyler Hero had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Andre Iguodala, he didn't score. Doesn't always need to score, though. Helps the team defensively and in other areas. He would also add 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Gabe Vincent, 3 points and an assist. And Gabe Vincent had 2 steals. Precious Achiuwa, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Max Struss would add 4 points and a block for the Heat. For the Charlotte Hornets, they were led by Malik Monk coming off the bench, who went nuts, exploded with 32 points, 2 rebounds, had a steal and a block. Malik Monk, the player of the game, no questions asked on that one. Terry Rozier, very talented guard for Charlotte, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists. It was the guards, guys, that did the Heat in this game. They were very effective. Rozier added a block. Devontae Graham, the other guard for Charlotte, 16 points, 8 assists, a rebound, and a steal. Gordon Hayward, now a Charlotte Hornet, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Bismack Biyombo, I have him in my fantasy basketball, by the way, because I need the blocks. And I need a little bit more on the board, so he's kind of like that guy that I picked him up once, and then he went back on waivers, I picked him up again. Biyombo will help you with blocks if you play fantasy basketball out there. Keep that in mind. He had 2 points, 7 rebounds, and assists, a steal, and 2 blocks in this one. 2 blocks, you see the 2? 2 blocks. PJ Washington, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and he also had 2 blocks. So 8 and 5 for PJ Washington, pretty good. Already discussed Monk's awesome performance. Miles Bridges, 10 points, 4 rebounds, and assist. Cody Zeller had 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals. Cody Martin, 2 rebounds, 4 assists for the Hornets, who currently hold a 23 and 21 record. I gotta like the addition they made with Gordon Hayward. You gotta like that. And I gotta like their backcourt of Rozier and Devontae Graham as well. So you gotta like a few things about Charlotte. A little bit of an underrated team flying underneath that radar. Currently, if the season were to end today, they would hold on to the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. So, where does this leave us? Where are we going now? As the Heat retool, re-strategize, revamp the roster, revamp the rotation, revamp the starting lineup, the bench. Don't forget, Goran's coming back soon too. So it's going to be, the Heat are going to have a different look, and that's going to be a little bit better look, no questions asked. Is it going to be good enough to beat a team like the Nets or the Sixers or the Bucks in the playoffs? I don't have that answer right now. I did hear Jalen Rose speak very highly of the Heat. Just a few, I don't even know if it was maybe within the last 24 hours. I saw him. It was video recording at that time, but he would come out after the Oladipo trade and what was going on there and speak very highly of the Heat. He even likes their chances as well in the East, so I would agree with him. I mean, I'm an optimistic fan, but you gotta like what's going on in terms of the recent acquisitions for this team. Of course, the one thing we don't like is the 6-game losing streak, but I can't change that, guys. No one can change that. That is what it is. So we just gotta move forward, and as it turns out, as I close out this video, the Heat have 2 monstrous games coming up. Monday the 29th, the Heat, these are 2 road games, so Monday and Wednesday. Monday, March the 29th, on the road in New York against the Knicks. Huge, huge game. And then Wednesday night on the road, that's March 31st, in Indiana to take on the Pacers. March 31st. So that's Knicks and Pacers, both on the road, Monday the 29th, Wednesday the 31st. Let me know what you think. Gotta at least get a split there of those 2 games. The new look Heat, you might take stay patient too, Heat fans. We need those wins. We got to stay a little patient too, because chances are extremely high. It's just not going to click right away. You got to understand this is how the NBA is. Doesn't always just click. Can't just throw guys in and everything magically works. Although he could get a little lucky in that area and we start winning relatively soon or playing a little bit better sooner than later. Of course, there isn't much wiggle room here either, with only about 26 games remaining in the regular season as I put together this video. So let me know what you think. Go ahead, hit that like button. We're going to talk again soon. This is Dennis Sullivan saying, I will see you, yes you, really soon. We'll talk, gonna give it a few days. Want to see how this works out when it comes to the Miami Heat. Check me out on the college tournament, did tons of videos on that. Check it out, let me know what you think. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.